Hi, class. Welcome again. We're on Unit 5, starting with 5.1 today, and it's called First and Lasts. So let's take a look at what we're doing here as we zoom in. Our unit objectives today is to talk about past events in your life, ask questions about the past, congratulate and sympathize with people, write a comment agreeing or disagreeing with an online post, summarize a story. Those last two we probably won't get into today or later on either. So let's move on to first and lasts, 5.1. And we have some kids on a bus here. And I want you to go ahead now and look at the picture. Okay, where are the children? I just told you they're on a bus, right? Obviously. Are they all happy? What do you think? Do they look happy? Yeah, they kind of do. I think so. Why or why not? Think about that. Just go ahead and talk to yourself for a moment and discuss part A to yourself for 10 seconds. Go ahead. Okay, so let's move on to B. Think of a special picture of you as a child. What are you doing in the picture? Where are you? Is anyone else there? And for ideas, watch Allison's video. So let's watch Allison's video, and maybe you can think of a picture that you have from your childhood, and you can talk about that. Here is Allison. Let's go ahead and listen to her.
Hi, I'm Allison. In my picture, I'm with my family and my two best friends. We are singing Happy Birthday song in my house.
Okay, one more time.
Hi, I'm Allison. In my picture, I'm with my family and my two best friends. We are singing Happy Birthday song in my house.
Okay, great. So can you think of a picture from your childhood that you can talk about? Go ahead and just talk out loud about it. I'll give you about 20 seconds. Go ahead. Okay, and great. So let's go ahead and move on now to the next page, which is page 44, lesson 5.1, and it's called One Amazing Day. All right. Up at the top here, we can see our lesson objective is to talk about past events in your life. So, one is language and context, part A. Look at the photos below. What are the people doing for the first time? Are their experiences positive or negative? Why do you think so? Read their stories. Were your answers correct? Okay, just to take a moment now, take a moment and think about these three pictures. Are they positive or negative? All right, think about your answer for each picture. Are they positive or negative? So go ahead, think about that for about 10 or 20 seconds. Okay, great. So we can look at these pictures and we can read about Carol. Carol's picture says, I live in Colorado in the middle of the USA. For my 45th birthday, I visited the ocean for the first time in my life. It was amazing. My friends weren't with me, but I stayed on the beach for hours. It was the perfect birthday. That sounds like a positive experience to me, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, here's Malik. Let's see what he says. My first driving lesson wasn't fun. It was horrible. I ran a red light and hit another car. It was a dangerous situation, but nobody was hurt. My driving instructor was really angry. That was my first and last lesson. I take the bus now. Okay. Positive or negative? Yeah, definitely negative, right? Now here's Barbara. My most amazing day was when I went to Rio to run in the marathon. It was my first visit to Rio, and it was my first marathon. My time was 4 hours 57 minutes. I was so tired when I crossed the finish line. It was a very proud moment. Okay, positive or negative? Definitely positive, right? All right, good. And you can see the glossary here says run a red light. That's a verb. That means to drive through a red traffic light. And the word marathon, that's a noun. That's a running race of 26 miles or 42 kilometers. All right, now let's look at part B. It says complete the sentences with the names Carol, Malik, or Barbara. Whose story do you find most interesting and why? So go ahead and fill those in. I'll just give you about 30 seconds to find the answers. Go ahead and I'll set the timer here and we'll come back and check. Okay, there you go. So let's check our answers there. Number one was Malik. Number two, Barbara. Number three, Carol. She talks about a birthday. And number four, Carol says where she lives. Okay. All right. Very good. So there we are. We're at the end of page 44. So let's go ahead and jump ahead now to page 45, vocabulary, up at the top here. All right. So we have the vocabulary part 2, describing opinions and feelings. Match the 4 adjectives in the box with the correct emojis below. Well, this is kind of fun. Then find and underline 8 more adjectives in the stories back on page 44. Match them with the other emojis. Listen and check. Well, let's go ahead and do these emojis first. All right. So match the 4 adjectives in the box. The first one is done for you. We have cool. Okay. And there are 3 others: crazy, loud, strange. Okay. So go ahead and put that under the correct or next to the correct emoji. Crazy goes where? Loud is which one? And strange is which one? All right. So go ahead and do those. All right. Then go back to page 44 and underline 8 more adjectives in the stories. So we'll go ahead and try to show both pages here. And I realize it's kind of a lot to fit on a page, but here we are if you can zoom in and see it on your computer. We have to find and underline 8 more adjectives in these stories here, and then match them with the other emojis. All right? So go ahead and do that right now. Go ahead and do that right now. And we will go ahead and check that in just a moment. And then we'll do part B after that. That's where we put this P, N, and B in. But wait for that. We'll do that in just a moment. Let me set the timer and let you complete that first part. I'll give you a minute and a half or a minute 45. And if you need more time, just go ahead and pause the video. All right? Okay, go ahead and do that now. All right, as we reach the end of the timer there, let's go ahead and check our answers up here. And they are like this. And I'll just kind of zoom in on one page here and we'll get it all in the upper right. Okay, very good. So your answers are as follows. Number 2 is fun. That's the fun emoji here. Number 3, strange. Kind of like alien, right? Number 4 is horrible. Number 5, proud. Number 6, amazing. Number 7 is dangerous. Number 8, perfect. Number 9 is loud. Number 10, crazy. Number 11, tired. And number 12, that's an easy one, angry. Okay, so there are your emojis right there. All right, so now what you get to do is B, decide if each adjective is generally positive, P, N for negative, or can be both. All right, so put the letter to the right of each word that you wrote down. Okay, I'll go ahead and give you some time to do that. I think you only need about a minute and 10 seconds. Go ahead and do that right now on your own. P, N, or B. Okay, so let's check out your answers and see how you did on that. Here we go. So, number 1 was positive. That's amazing, fun, proud, cool, perfect. Okay. And number 2, negative, is strange, horrible, dangerous, angry. Okay. And for both, you should have had tired, loud, and crazy would have the B next to them. Okay. So those are what you should have had. Positive, the P should be under these. The negative, the N should be to the right of these. And the B to the right of these. Okay. All right. So there were your answers for those. Now we have to jump ahead to do the vocabulary exercises for 5.1. They're found on page 145. So let's teleport right to that. Boom. Here we are at the top of the page, and we'll zoom into that page now. And here we are. So, describing opinions and feelings. Replace the emojis in each sentence with the correct adjective, okay? So you might have to go back and forth to your other page if you forgot what these emojis are. But fill in the blanks and find the answers, all right? I'll go ahead and set the timer again for you for about a minute and a half. If you need more time, you can go ahead and pause the video. There you go. All right, there we go. So we'll go ahead and check out those answers right now. Here we are. So, number 2, my 18th birthday was an amazing experience. For the first time, I was an adult. Number 3, I remember the first day I went skiing. It was really fun. My friends and I had a great time. Number 4, the first time that I voted was a very proud moment for me. It was an important day for my country, and I was part of it. Number 5, I remember when I traveled by plane for the first time. That was crazy. Wow. All right. Now, moving on, let's go ahead and check out part B next. Here we have to complete the conversations with words from the box. Write 2 more conversations using other words from the box. Okay? So you're going to do 1, 2, 3 and choose some words here to make the answers correct. And then in 4 and 5, you kind of have to write your own conversations. So that's on you, and we won't be able to check what you wrote, but I would like you to do that. But first, let's just go ahead and set the timer for 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then we'll check those, and the other answers are going to vary. So I'll set that timer now for about a minute and 20 seconds, and you go ahead and get started on 1, 2, and 3 to begin first off. Okay, so checking now with B. Here we go. How are you feeling today? I'm really What? I'm really tired. I went to bed very late last night. All right. Now, 2A. Do you like this music? What? I can't hear you. It's really loud. 3. How was your vacation? It was perfect. The weather was great and the food was delicious. Okay, so there are the answers for those blanks. Now, in 4 and 5, you have to make your own conversations. So I'm going to pause it a little bit longer for you to go ahead and write out your own conversations. And we won't be able to check them because those will vary for everybody, okay, and 4 and 5. So let's go ahead, set the timer, and you work on those. We'll do it for about 2 minutes. Go ahead and you can work on those now on your own. Okay, so there we go. Time's up. Hopefully, you came up with some good answers there, and I won't be able to share them with you today, but maybe we'll get a chance to some other time. Okay, so let's go ahead now, and we need to go back to the front of the book, so let's teleport there, back to page 45, where we left off at part D. So if we zoom in, you can see where it says, look at the words in the box, use the words from exercise 2A to describe them. Okay, so we have bike sharing programs, birthdays, concerts, fast cars, festivals, my street, soccer, and video games. So you're just going to talk about these words and use the words from exercise 2A up here. Remember, we have all these emojis up here. Use those to describe these things. Okay, for example, bike sharing programs. Bike sharing programs are fun. I don't know. I think biking in the city is dangerous, okay? So talk out loud about these words and use some of these words up here when you describe them, okay? All right. I would like you to practice on speaking about those words, and I'll just set the timer here for about a minute and we'll say 30 seconds, and you can kind of see how you do with that. So go ahead, please. Talk about those words now on your own. Okay, very good. So now we'll go ahead and move on and check our answers to the grammar. Here we go. Number one, the simple past of be is was or were. The negative is wasn't or weren't. Number two, the simple past of regular verbs ends in ed. For example, visited. Number three, the simple past of irregular verbs doesn't end in ed. For example, ran and hit. Two examples there for you. Okay? Very good. Now, moving on, go to page 133, look at the grammar chart, and do the grammar exercises for 5.1. So let's teleport to the back of the book and look at 5.1 at the bottom, simple past. Here it is. Okay, it says simple past of be. We have affirmative columns, negative column, questions, and short answers. All right. And on the left side, I, he, she, it, you, we, they. So let's read and match these up. I, he, she, or it was cool. I was cool. She was cool, like that. We have the negative here. I, he, she, it wasn't loud. Was not is the negative. And we can make a question like, was it fun? Yes, it was. No, it wasn't, are short answers. Okay, those are all using was. All right. Now, we're using were, weren't here. You were perfect. We weren't proud. You you could also have they were perfect. They weren't proud. Okay. Now you can make a question with were like this. Were they crazy? Yes, they were. No, they weren't. Okay, a couple of answers there for you. Short answers. All right, now the simple past down here. We have regular verbs, and regular verbs end with verb plus the ed. All right, so learn becomes learned. Visit becomes visited. Love becomes loved. Study, studied. And notice they added an IED to make that studied. If we end in a Y on a word, when we change it to the past tense form, we change the Y to an I and add ED. Study becomes studied. And we have some irregular verbs here on the right. And remember, irregular verbs are strange. We just have to memorize what those are. Do becomes did, go went, have had, hit stays the same as hit. All right, so part A. Complete the text with the simple past of the verbs in the box. So you need to change these words in the green box to simple past tense and fill them in the blanks. Go ahead, I'll set the timer. Shouldn't take you too long. If you need more time, you can pause it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and stop the timer there and check the answers to these. All right, so we have number one already done for us. It was horrible. Number two, I hated every minute of it. Number three, my older sister walked with me, but she didn't remember the way, so we got lost. Finally, we arrived, but we were very late. I really missed my mom and dad. All day, I just wanted to go home. Okay, there you go. Those are your answers. So now we have to teleport back to the front of the book. So let's go down here to part C. And C says, Marina is talking about her first love. Complete the text with the simple past of the verbs in the box. So go ahead and do that now. Put in the simple past for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I'll give you a little bit of time here to do that. About a minute and 20 seconds or so should be enough to get that done. Go ahead and give it a try. Okay, there we go. So, checking our answers now. His name was Raul. We lived on the same street and we went to the same school. He was funny and he always talked about cool and interesting things. We weren't together for a long time because his family moved to another city, but I have very nice memories of him. Okay, very good. Now in part D, you're supposed to think about an important person in your life when you were younger. Tell your partner about this person. Use the simple past. And we don't have partners here, right? So you'll just have to think about an answer to that and practice out loud. Okay? So I want you to do that on your own. And you can also see part 4 speaking is something I would like you to do on your own as well. Maybe we'll pick these up in a Zoom class if we have a chance. Think of a special day in your life. Where were you? Who was with you? What happened? Was it a good or bad experience? Okay. Tell your partner. So think about answers for those two speaking questions, and maybe we'll check those and talk about them in a Zoom class another day. Okay? Thank you very much. That's the end of our lesson for today. As you can see, the next one is 5.2. So we'll stop there. Have a great day. Bye bye.